مجموعة دينية في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية كتعتنق ما تسميه بالإسلام الأمريكي، كتقدس العالم المغربي، كتصلي 3 المرات في النهار، كتآمن بنبي من ولاية كارولاينا الشمالية، وعندها كتاب مقدس آخر بالإضافة للقرآن. باش نتعرفوا على هذه المجموعة هذه استضفت راسالي القس الأكبر في المعبد المغربي العلمي في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. So Sheikh, during the protests following the horrific death of George Floyd in the US, we saw protesters carrying and waving the Moroccan flag, and all Moroccans began asking about the connection between the flag and the protests. And later it turned out that the people carrying the flags were adherent to your religious group. So we would like you to tell us in a nutshell, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America?
It's the educational branch of the Moorish nation. When back in the 20s and 30s and before then, when our people was enslaved, our nationality was taken away from us. Here they call it the chopping down of the cherry tree. George Washington chopped down the cherry tree, which represents the red fez with the green tassel. You see a lot of Shriners and stuff having that as monuments in their shrines, etc. Now, we being stripped of our nationality, sold in slavery from 1779 to 1865, suddenly we was blessed by Allah to have a prophet, someone to come to save us and to give us what everybody took away from, our names, our culture, and who we are as a people, and who our God was. When you strip a people of that, you make them inhuman. You make a man a beast. So our prophet brought us all these things back. And he let us know that we're Moorish. My grandfather and them come from Morocco. Now, there were Moors. And then in 700 you know, Morocco became a country. But before that, what was it? The city of Fez was holy and sacred to us. That's why we wear the Fez. I don't think most people know that at one time, the flag was a white flag with a green 5-point interlocking star on it. And out of honor and respect for the dead, our people changed the color to red to represent the blood that was shed in defense of our people. And we had held it proudly. You know, that's our glory. This is what connects us. Plus, our 34th question for our children is, what is the title given to our ruler in Morocco? So we acknowledge who our ruler is in Morocco. It doesn't say in America, it doesn't say in Africa, that or the other countries in Africa, it says in Morocco. So the 34th question for all Moorish Americans is, what is the title given to our ruler in Morocco? Sultan. Because that's the time he was the Sultan. If you look back in the American Peace and Friendship Treaty, you see where it says George Washington acknowledged the King of Morocco as being the King of Morocco, but he said the King of Fez in all West Africa.
Sheikh, you mentioned the Moroccan flag, and I would like to ask about the religious significance of the Moroccan flag for you.
That's our nationality. That's a secular thing. The Moorish flag is part of our national culture, our national inheritance. When our prophet came, he brought us back who we were as a people, gave us our names back, and inspired us to look to the east for our inheritance. And our religion comes from the east, Islam.
Sheikh, I've gone through your website, and you seem to accentuate that your version of Islam is different from that of the Arabs, and that you have an American understanding of Islam.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think are some of the major differences and the similarities between the Islam?
Well, culture. Yeah. Culture. First of all, culture.
Okay.
You know, we don't have to make a hajj thousands of miles to go to Mecca when our prophet gave us our Mecca in Chicago, Illinois. So we hajj to Chicago. But the greatest hajj is to the heart.
What about the Quran? Do you consider it a holy scripture?
I got about 20 of them in my house.
Okay.
That's our Old Testament.
We call it out. I got about 20 of them. I got Ahmadiyya, I got Sunni, I got Shia, and I don't even speak Arabic, but I read the English well.
Sheikh, I'm also curious to know about the prayers. Do you pray in the same way as, let's say, Sunni Muslims pray?
We pray 3 times a day. The Quran says, guard your morning, noon, and evening prayer. So we pray 3 times a day.
Okay, Sheikh, I would like to go back to something you said earlier. You talked about a new version of the Quran. Do you have another version of the Quran?
This is it, the Holy Quran, of the Moorish Scientific American given us by a prophet in 1927. It gives us things that we need to know as a people. It gives us the missing years of Jesus. It gives us the life works and teachings of Muhammad. And it takes us from one prophet to this prophet to our prophet and letting us know the line of divinity that unites them all.
So if I understand correctly, the Quran is like the Old Testament for you. Is that right?
Yes, like the Old Testament, like the Torah is to the Bible, the Quran is to us. We make our customs based on what we get out the Quran. It's like our divinely inspired social book.
Thank you very much for the information you gave us today, Sheikh.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.